everyone, this is Miss Anne, and welcome to our little experiment today that we're going to be doing the experiment called the Magic Milk Experiment that we did during our virtual STEM class. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties, so I'm going to film this here and post it so that other people who might be having issues with the video can see it. So, what is the Magic Milk Experiment? Well, we need to use some household ingredients that we have on hand. Milk, specifically. We need some food coloring. A shallow dish, like this one, like a Pyrex or maybe something like this. And then we're going to be using dish soap, like Dawn. Think of that. Okay? So, what we're going to talk about is our processes of science, and then obviously the steps that scientists take in order to do these experiments. So the 6 processes of science, as we discussed, are questioning, observing, predicting or making a hypothesis, testing, retesting, and then concluding or reflecting. And the steps that many scientists take when they do an experiment is they ask questions, they gather information or maybe materials, they formulate a hypothesis, a prediction of what they think will happen, they test that hypothesis, then they analyze the data, and maybe they'll go back to step 1 and ask a new question, like we're going to be doing. Or they're going to report, reflect, and ultimately make a conclusion based on what they find. So, without further ado, let's start our little experiment. So, I'm going to use 1% milk to start this experiment, and I'm going to just pour it into our dish. You want to have a little bit, you want it to fill the entire dish that you're using. So if you're using a big Pyrex dish like I am, you want it to fill the bottom. You don't want to see the bottom anywhere except, you only want to see white for the milk. Then you're going to use your food coloring, and you're just going to, there you go. Add a few of this, maybe add a little red, and I'll add a little bit of blue. We could add green if you wanted, but up to you. Alright, so there we go. And you might want to notice what's happening. It's important to know this step might not look as anything, but when you go to a different kind of milk, you might notice something different. So just notice what's happening. Okay, they're generally staying in the same place. They're not moving. Is it dissolving? Is it turning all of the milk this color? No, it's actually staying in pockets. These are things that we need to observe. Alright, so now we're going to take a toothpick, like this, and we're going to dunk our toothpick into the liquid dish soap, like so. And you just want a little bit on there, and maybe if there's extra, you can, take the excess off. And you're just going to take, let that drip, you're going to take your toothpick and you're going to poke it into the center. Oops. Let's try that again. There we go. I had it in the wrong space and I didn't have enough. Whoa! So it's dispersing, is what I've been using the term. When you add the dish soap, it will hit the color and then move away. So I call it dispersing. And now you can see it's moving away, and now it's creating movement. It's hard to see, but yeah, you can see a little bit. There's movement. It's going from the center away. Alright, so what is actually happening with this? So I looked at a book called Incredible Experiments with Chemical Reactions and Mixtures. And in that, it actually had this experiment. They called it something different. I like the Magic Milk Experiment, but they call it the Colorful Milk Experiment. And in the corner here, it actually tells you why this is happening. Why does it happen? The milk contains fats, so it has fats, that prevent the dye, or the food coloring, from dissolving in the milk. Remember, it sat on top, didn't make the entire milk a different color. So it doesn't dissolve in there, and it doesn't break it down. That's why you see it so clearly. It also contains a lot of water, and it forms a kind of skin. So a little skin on top. Think of it like like you're diving into a swimming pool. Sometimes when you dive into a swimming pool, it kind of hurts, right? You know, especially if you land the wrong way, you know, that can kind of hurt. Because you're hitting what is a skin on top of the water. We call this surface tension. You know, I'm about to get to it. The skin also enables pond skaters and other insects to walk on the water. It's called surface tension. You break this skin of water with the dishwashing liquid or the dish soap. So you break that tension, you break that bond that's there, and automatically it starts dissolving. And that's why the colors form shapes and mix together when you add the dish soap. So this is a basic science experiment. Alright, so after I did this experiment the first time, I asked another question. I said, but what would happen if you used a different kind of milk? This is a low-fat milk. Remember, talked about fats being really important. It's the fat in the milk that keeps things from dissolving. So, if you were to use a different kind of milk, and I have to go get my half and half because I put it in the fridge, let's go get that half and half. One moment. Just gonna put this away and get our half and half. So what would happen if we got our half and half? Well, let's take our and do this experiment with the half and half. The half and half is a higher fatty milk. So I pour our half and half into our little jar here, and we're gonna do the same thing. All right, so let's use the blue to start out. Let's see if we notice any differences when that drops. Well, I noticed a difference right away. The color is very, very concrete in there. And it's not really moving as much as the last time I used it. It moved a lot in there. It actually did disperse a little bit because the fats were not as high as it is in this half and half that we have here. Alright, and I'll do green. There. So it is staying very similarly, but definitely it seems to be more concrete in its location. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take our toothpick and we're going to dunk it. There we go. And here we go. Whoa. That's really cool. So I dunked it at first and it moved and it stopped. And then I dunked it again and another, bit of soap fell in and did the same thing. It dispersed and stopped. And then, after a small pause, it started moving again. It's actually really cool with the higher fat content. If you have in your house different types of milk, let's say you have a whole milk, a skim milk, and maybe a half and half, you can use, I haven't tried it, but I believe it wouldn't make any sense not to try any creamers because it's milk-based and it has a lot of fat. Maybe test that out, see what happens. Theoretically, it should work. But if you guys enjoyed this experiment, in the summer we're going to be doing another story-based science experiment called STEAM Stories. So we hope that you guys will tune in online for that one in June, July, and August. But please like and share these videos and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy them. Until next time, stay home, stay calm, stay safe everyone, and have some fun science.